Nicholas Payton's musician. His drummer. Highly, highly, highly. What was it? So you want to start?
Well, audio's still going, so we still have all that. That's fine.
Cool. But Nicholas Payton was not Nicholas Payton, but Adonis Rose was on the panel.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know exactly who he was at the time, but I knew he was somebody special. And so I get there and it was like, all right, we want you to play A Train and 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't know what the A Train is. I'm from New York. All I learned was hip hop.
Yeah.
Like, what's that? And you're like, wait. Band stopped immediately. He's like, you don't know what the A Train is? I'm like, no. So
it's like, is that important?
He was like, I looked at him. He was like, it's very freaking important. It's like, it's the ABC of jazz. So he was like, okay, so you know the tune. I was like, yeah. He's like, that's the A Train. I said, oh, cool. All right, so yeah, come on. 5, 6, 7.
You want to give us a lick?
Oh no. So
bad memories.
So I started playing it, and immediately, like I'd say within 15 seconds, he was like, "Stop. You've never played jazz before." I said, "No." He was like, "How long have you been playing drums?" Since I was 11, and at that time I was 16, 17. He was like, "Hold on a second." Pulls his son, no, not his son, but one of the panel people pulled their son out of the room. Son had to be no more than 7, 8. Comes out, yes, daddy. Hey, could you play the A Train for me? Yeah. 6 up 6, 5, 6, 5, 6, 7, 8, and starts swinging his butt off. And I'm sitting there, and he stopped him within a minute. He was like, okay, go back and play. Go back and do your homework. He was like, okay. As soon as he closed the door, he's like, until you can play at that level, don't come back here. And as I walked out the door, Adonis Rose is the one that came. Hey, that's tough love. We want you to come back.
Yeah.
But just learn jazz in New Orleans. I know you're not from here. Learn it here. So that's what kind of fueled me to keep going. And then, of course, I ended up learning what the term pocket was in New Orleans as well, because there was a homeless guy that wasn't a drummer, a famous drummer that I found out later. And he taught me the term play the pocket, pay the pocket. Okay. Meaning play the song.
Yeah.
The groove of the song is what makes people dance. You're the spine of the song. Play the song. So I learned how to make that happen. Now, it was easy for me to make that happen because hip-hop is repetitive.
Yeah.
So me keeping a repetitive beat without using a lot of fills was easy for me. So I learned backwards. Most people learn all their fills and all that stuff first. Then they learn how to groove. I learned all the grooves and then learned how to fill later.
Okay.
So, and gospel is what taught me how to incorporate all music into one style. So that's where all that comes from.
Yeah, gospel is definitely one of those play styles where you do that, you do anything.
Yeah, it is rock, jazz, funk, hip-hop, R&B, opera. It is every style of music all in one place.
And then you see like all these young drummers having to switch out, during the song because they just get so tuckered out, trying to stay in pocket, stay in tempo.
Yeah.
Just, all that.
We were just talking about Thomas Pridgen.
Yeah.
He is, before he was known as the, because he's the youngest ever to win the drum off for Guitar Center. It's either Guitar Center or the Apollo. Well, I think it's Guitar Center. He's the youngest drummer to win.
Kidding.
Absolutely. Nobody's been younger than him to win. So.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, he's cold.
Yeah.
But he started in gospel at a very, very young age. So can you imagine a 6, 7, 8-year-old doing all the main stuff? Yeah, and then some of the shout music. I don't know if you know about the shout music. It's really like punk rock. It's all the tendencies of punk, which is the reason why it's easy for Thomas Pridgen to join a punk rock band. So Mike Mitchell, same way. Mike Mitchell from DFW, he can join a punk rock band easy because his whereabouts of being in gospel music and stuff like that. So, but yeah, gospel music is, I would probably put it second as far as teaching me how to drum confidence in playing because of it being church. People pat you on the back more. Like, hey, you did great. Keep going. As opposed to if you're in, you know, R&B or pop or jazz, they are real like, no, get your butt off.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. they ain't afraid to tell you straight.
Nah.
It
gets there in gospel too, but you have to get a certain level. But when they see you're a kid and you're first trying to start, and they really encourage you. Yeah. I didn't know I was being encouraged by the band of the great Timothy Wright, and that is big. That's like New York's version of Kirk Franklin.
Oh no shit.
And so the band is the one like, no, keep going, bro. And I'm all the way off beat. I'm 11, 12 years old. I'm all the way off, and they're playing with me. I'm dragging the song. They drag the song with me. You see what I'm saying?
That's cool.
So my confidence was going up, and then of course when I used to listen back to those tapes, I'm like, I was horrible. Why would y'all even play with me?
Right.
But they do it with everybody. When a new organist come in, same thing. New guitar player come in, same thing. But I did not know that was the band of the great Timothy Wright that I was playing for.
Some good history right there.
Yeah.
What are some of the like classic hip hop beats that? Or I mean, what got you into hip hop like itself?
I can go back.
Was it the beats or just the lyrics, or
it was first it was because it was a new thing happening.
Right.
I was in New York. I'm only 4 years younger than hip hop. Hip hop is about to be 50 this year, August the 11th. Yeah, and I know the birthday of hip hop. So August the 11th, it'll be 50. I'm 46. So I was there when hip hop was illegal.
Yeah, that's right.
It literally was illegal to be in a circle of more than 3 people and just rap and beatbox or beat on a building to get a sound out. Yeah. Or break dance. So I've done all.
It was like legit Footloose.
Yes, legit Footloose.
Yeah.
But so we had what Footloose was for that type of dance. We had Wild Style. We had Crush Groove. We had Beat Street 1 and 2. Those main 3 movies was our version of what Footloose is to a lot of people.
Yeah.
So it kind of showed people the culture as it was coming up. But by that time, it was already called hip hop. It was already, people were saying that they rap, and people were calling each other DJs and stuff like that. But before it had a name, it was called the Get Down. So you only heard word for word, by word of mouth, like, hey man, in Brooklyn, they got the Get Down happening. Cool. So my first experiences with hip hop come from being in those places, and I was with the whole culture happening at the same time. A graffiti writer writing while the DJ is playing, people dancing, and people rapping in the corner over here, all at the same time.
That's tight.
It's a festival to me. Yeah. As a kid, so and it's always almost a secret when it happens. The next time it happens. Yeah. So right after that wave, when it finally became popular on the radio after Sugar Hill Gang, and Curtis Blow and Run DMC and stuff like that, I started listening to the beats primarily. It's really, really hard beats. And I'm like, ooh, I wonder I'm fascinated with drums. Yeah. At the same time, I'm fascinated with hip hop. So the love of hip hop is equal to the love of drumming because they happen at the exact same time. Okay. So I'm thinking, ooh, if I learn how to do that in church, I'm gonna be good. Yeah. So my first beat I ever played in church from hip hop was I Need a Beat from LL Cool J. Nice. And it was, at the time, it was hard because of the coordination, but now obviously it's extremely simple. Especially with now, of course, the advance of how to make beats and everything like that with the machine. But that was my first beat. But the main song that made me know that I was gonna love hip hop forever was "I Ain't No Joke" from Eric B. and Rakim. That song hit me so hard. I get goosebumps every time I think about it. I fell in love with that song on a Sunday night at 1:30 in the morning. Because hip hop on the radio, when it finally made it to the radio, was only played between 12 a.m. and 2 a.m.
Can't believe you remember.
Oh man, I can tell.
What was the date exactly?
The date exactly? I was in the so that was 1986.
You're full of it.
No, it was 1986. The video wasn't out, so MTV didn't come out till 1985. So this video wasn't on yet. So I heard it on Red Alert, WBL. No, it was Red Alert's radio station, and let me see. Date. I was not in school. It was summertime. So it was hot. So that had to be somewhere near June, July in New York. Extremely hot. At worst, it was September. But when I tell you, I was geeked. And you can, mind you, you had cassette tapes. Yeah. So you had to be at the radio ready for the song. So the first time I heard it, I wasn't ready. So I had to wait. Now, mind you, you can listen to a song at the drop of a dime now. I had to wait for the radio to come
and play it back
hours later, or a whole, because mind you, it was only 2 hours to fit in hip hop. So I had to wait a whole nother week.
Oh my God.
To hope they play this song. So I'm by the radio from 12 to almost 2 o'clock in the morning. At 1:30, he was like, all right, y'all remember that joint we played yesterday from Eric B. and Rakim? About to play it again. Click. And I Ain't No Joke comes out. Now, here's what made it so dominant for me. I became a lyricist that day. That day, I wrote my first rap to that song. The beat was a James Brown sample. I didn't know that. I learned the beat. The scratching, I learned trying to scratch. I learned how to. That was one element in hip hop that I said, okay, yeah, this is too hard. I can't do this. So I left it alone. Yeah. I'm just gonna be the drummer and the MC. And his patterns. Rakim is the first MC documented to rap over the bar. So everything was dot 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 rap dot 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 cat dot 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 dot. He would take the word rat, and the next time he say something, the next word will be in between the sentence he's about to finish. So da 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 at da 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 at so da 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 da. So it'll be a run-on sentence. So he was the first one to do run-on sentences and different patterns. The irony is he was influenced by a lot of jazz. So he used a lot of jazz cadences in his raps. So he used he took his syllables and matched them to people's solos. So that's how he got those cadences. So that I go deep with hip hop, bro. I really do. I can get off.
And the thing that's really gonna get me is that you just got so specific, and I can't fact check any of that.
You can after this. I promise you. I promise you. It's it's just
no, but that's really cool.
Yeah, I can remember the smell of the day, being outside. I remember what the color shorts I was wearing was. I was wearing jean shorts because I cut the pants off, so I had the little the
like the tassel thing
still hanging out because I didn't know how to cut them off properly. I had a blue at the time. What's the alligator? Is that
Lacoste?
Lacrosse.
Oh, lacrosse?
I think it's lacrosse.
I thought it was Lacoste.
Whatever it is, it's the alligator was the poor man's version of a polo shirt. So those shirts were $2. So whenever I get one, that was, we want to go to school. Mama, buy me a polo shirt. Buy me a Ralph Lauren polo shirt. She bought the one with the alligator.
They're pretty cool now.
Well, now, hell, 30 years later.
Listen, you wore jean shorts. You just admitted publicly.
Yes.
To cutting
jeans, bro. But it was hot. It was hot. So, but those shirts, the shirts were good. We didn't want anybody to know that we had the alligator. So the moment my mom's bought them, I went inside and unsold the alligator. That's how, I'm telling you, used to get beat up for having the alligator on your shirt because they knew you really wanted a polo. That's how polo shirts at that time were probably $10, $12. Okay. Extremely expensive. Yeah. The lacrosse or lacrosse shirt, whatever it is, alligator shirt, was $2. Now it's flipped. Ralph Lauren is a lot cheaper than, hell, you buy a t-shirt from them, a white t-shirt will cost you $30. So that's just the flip of the times and stuff like that. So I remember the smell. I remember the time of the day. I remember me turning my speakers outside and hitting play. And everybody on the block like, you caught it last night? Yes, I did. Play it again. Play it again. I played it all day long until the parents of us was like, please, can you just play something else? Yeah.
So how big was your room and how much was filled with just like audio equipment or just music related stuff?
My room was very small. I had a bed, a dresser, and nothing but posters. So at the time, the magazines was right on.
You didn't have a bunch of like speakers or boom boxes or
no, because the sound systems at that time was limited. Portable sound systems. Okay. So we hip hop helped companies like Yamaha, Sony come out with what they call boom boxes. Okay. And you had tape decks, and you used to always see them like in the old school video and stuff like that. Suckers was heavy. You had to put 10.
Oh, that was you?
10D batteries in that sucker power it.
That right there's a crime. That right there's a crime.
10D
now,
batteries.
On that note of you being the one carrying it, would you ever be the one to like go to a chick's house with it over your head?
No, that was.
Or is that too corny?
It's cliche.
Too Caucasian.
No, it's cliche. It's cliche because they got it because of hip hop. Hip hop would.
Oh yeah.
We would do this, so that was them making, and it was what they don't know is that was more hip hop than anything. That was the most romantic hip hop situation than anything.
Like the personal mix.
The whole putting up the boombox in the air.
That's still pretty popular. Well, I mean, like, it's like with Spotify or Apple Music.
It still happens. Yeah, it still happens. It's just one of those things. It's never gonna go away. It's never gonna. It's always gonna be a "I'm sorry, forgive me" or "I love you." It's gonna be one of those things, and there's not any person that is receiving it that is not gonna melt. Yeah. So everybody else around are going, shut that crap off and shut that shit off. But
it's like, this is for you. I love you.
But it just shows the humility in you. You were willing to take the embarrassment to show how much I love you. It's almost like getting on top of something and yelling with a blowhorn. Yeah. How much you love somebody. I'll get naked for you, and then you start just taking off your clothes. Yeah, that's up there. So
that one's a little beyond me. That's interesting.
Yeah, it happens, unfortunately.
Do you remember who you put on like one of your original or one of your first mixtapes when you were able to do that, or like one of your first Walkmans when you could actually like take it with you places?
Yeah, my first song that I was happy to put on there, believe it or not, wasn't "I Ain't No Joke." It was LL Cool J's "I Can't Live Without My Radio." It was my theme song.
And he's carrying.
Yeah, and I'm carrying my radio. And the irony was on the I Need a Beat LL Cool J album is the boombox I had.
Oh, that's
so tight. I was proud.
It just goes with the whole.
Oh yeah, I played that sucker, and my radio. I like to play it loud. Was just coming out the whole speaker, and everybody. I can't live without my radio.
It's like, get out of here, Medrick.
Oh yeah, I was so hip hop that I bleed hip hop.
That's cool.
But yeah, that was the first song. My other song was Curtis Blow's "Basketball." basketball is my favorite sport. I used to play the people up and down the court, you know. And so I used to love that song because I played basketball at the time. Those two songs were my favorite. And then, god dang it, that damn Boogie Down Production came out, and that damn not My Philosophy. What's the name of that song? The girlies is free, but the crack costs money. Oh yeah, that one. That kid. I did not understand.
We'll figure that. We'll
that,
find the name.
That song. No, it's called. It's called The P Is Free.
Okay.
But when he said it on the clean version, it's the girlies is free, but the crack costs money.
So he could say the crack costs money, but he couldn't say the.
Because crack was brand new at the time.
Fair.
Crack came out in the early 80s. I'm gonna say it hit the streets around 84, 85.
Okay.
So as hip hop is coming in to fruition, crack hits hard, and it devastated everywhere, man. I watched my friends become zombies. Stupid talented people become just thieves of everything.
Motown was hit real hard by it too, wasn't it?
Well, they had heroin. Their thing was like heroin, and it was something else they had before crack. Well, obviously cocaine. So cocaine was still dominant, but heroin was the hard thing.
Okay.
Cocaine was kind of like blasé. This is what we do.
Yeah.
But heroin, you had to shoot it in you. That was like, wait a minute now. That's a whole different high. It's faster, all that type of stuff. So, when crack hit the scene, it was cheaper, it sold faster, and it was just horrible. I lived the movie New Jack City. So if you ever seen New Jack City, I lived in the presence of all that. I lived in Jamaica, Queens, which was one of the most dominant crack selling places. As a matter of fact, my best friend, before he passed away, his parents were the drug lords.
Oh my God.
Of Queens, and he was the bully of my school.
Because of that, or just in general?
Partially.
Oh.
Partially.
Yeah.
Because of that. No, he knew he was untouchable. Nobody was gonna mess with him.
Yeah.
His parents was full blood Jamaican. He's Jamaican, and they're just crazy. They were just crazy. So, only way I became best friends with him was I actually hit him with a pipe.
That's usually how it goes.
I hit him with a pipe. I ran, and I remembered, oh crap, today is Friday. I got to go to school on Monday. I got to face this guy. So all weekend long, I was stressed out. All weekend. And then the next time I see him, to make a long story short, he sees me and he tells everybody, he pulls me up on top of the lunch table and yells, "Hey, yo, anybody mess with this dude, you mess with me." And he pulled me down. He said, "Come to the back." He pulled me to the back. He said, real hardcore, just like, yeah. So when he pulled me back, as soon as the door closed, he's like, "What the hell did you hit me with? Was that your hand?" I said, "Nah, that was a pipe." "Oh, thank God. 'Cause, bruh, that shit hurt." And he became more human to me than anything. And after that, he came over by my house. He loved Atari. Atari and Nintendo had just started coming in. So I had Atari, the Genesis, and there was one more game company that was out right before Nintendo. So I had all 4 game systems. Yeah. I had all 4 game systems. But I loved Atari. He loved Atari at the same time. And so we fell in love with games together. He'd go buy the game. I'd go play the game.
That's so cool.
Then we would trade off. I'd go by his house. We found out real quick we're better by my house.
Oh, wow.
Because he really wanted to be him. He really wanted to take the cool and the bully off of him and just be human.
Yeah.
He just wanted to be human. So he got a chance a whole week, every weekend, just to be human. And eating my mama's cooking, laughing and joking, wrestling. Oh man, I remember wrestling that dude. And he suplexed me every move. Like, oh, suplex, boom. I'm like, God dang, man, bro, is that the only move you know? But anyway, yeah, he was a real dear friend of mine until he passed away. with some street stuff. If you don't know Punky Brewster, he was a big fan of Punky Brewster. So we'd watch Punky Brewster together. And anything he matched, Punky Brewster had a bandana for everywhere she went, and it matched her clothes. So he started wearing a bandana. And this is before Bloods and Crips type of gang came to New York.
Okay.
Way before. So when he walks outside with a bandana and almost gets hit by a Jeep, they're like, "Oh, so you one of them? What you doing out here, California guy?" He's like, "I'm not, man, I'm from Queens. What are y'all talking about?" It's like, "All right, we see you with that again. We gonna come back and get you." Well, I lived right across the street, literally like from my car to here, from the school. So I go inside to go get something, and I hear gunshots. So I go outside. He's shot in the middle of the street. He had enough breath and enough knowledge to tell me I'm yelling. And in New York, they'll tell you to yell fire. Don't yell for help.
Yeah.
You yell fire, it brings people to you. You yell rape or you yell help, people repel. So you yell fire when you're really in trouble, especially at that time. And in panic, I'm yelling help.
Yeah.
You know, and so everybody's just fleeing and kind of looking, but kind of moving away, and I don't see this and I don't see that. So he had enough strength and enough knowledge to tell me, take the bandana off of me. I was like, what? And I'm crying, and he's like, just take the bandana off me. So I took the bandana off. He said, put it in your pocket. Put it in my pocket. And he was like, thank you. And he passed. But because I took the bandana off, they didn't label it gang related. And they found the guys. You see what I'm saying? So that he had enough knowledge in him.
It was easier to get him.
To eat, because if they would have, oh, it was a gang situation.
They're going to look at everyone or
and
just not look.
And they would have just like,
yeah, and
left it alone. But because it wasn't gang related, he was a kid. We got to find these people.
Yeah.
There was no drive-bys in New York, so that was my first experience of a drive-by.
Yeah.
And they found them, and for the sake of the people I know, and this being public, I'll leave the rest up to your imagination.
I'm not DJ Vlad. It's okay.
No, just
this ain't a Vlad interview.
That's funny.
So yeah, and his name was
Damien.
Oh, that was part
No. That's
okay.
There's a whole bunch of Damiens in the world, so I didn't give the last name. His name was Damien. I miss that dude a lot, man. He would have grew up. He was smart, extremely smart, bro. He had to be a bully because he had to be the type of person he was in the streets because of who his parents was. Yeah. And yeah. So I'm forever safe if I go to New York, I'll tell you that. So all I have to do is just mention that I'm in New York to certain people and I'm good.
Man, how'd you get all these connections? How you, like, I don't know anyone who, I mean, like, personally, I don't know anyone who, other than you, I guess, just now, that says, yeah, I'm going to just call two people and I'm going to be fine.
Well, it's a respect thing more than a check-in thing, because the check-in term has been taken out of text lately. So, but it's a respect thing. When I go to South Carolina, there's people I call to tell I'm coming. So it's almost like somebody setting the table for you. Like when you go, hey, look, I'm coming home for dinner. They set the table for you. As opposed to coming home like, oh man, now I didn't know you were coming. I don't know what to fix, and I don't know what to do with you. So now you got people like, oh, you ain't been up here in a minute. There's things have changed, so you can't go. Don't go down this street. That street's not cool no more. Mm-hmm. Don't do this anymore. And if you go here, call John. Let him know you're coming. You know, that type of thing. So it's a respect thing, and it's earned. It's one of those things that you get. The respect is there all the time. In New York, you have the respect of everybody, first and foremost. You have to lose the respect of people in New York. Especially at that time, from 80s and 90s, people start you off at zero immediately. Like, all right, well, if you say this is what you do and this is how you do it, then this is what you do. Yeah. The moment you deviate from that too often, respect start going down. So it's up to you how your respect level stays. So my respect level in Jamaica, Queens, especially, not just in New York, just in Jamaica, Queens, I'm good. Now, within Jamaica, Queens, I can then, whoever I'm hanging with, can take me to Brooklyn, Bronx, Long Island, stuff like that, and I can still be safe. Now, mind you, it's a safe place. I'm not saying that New York is not a safe place, because it really is. Safer than New Orleans. The irony of that. Safer than Washington, safer than Detroit, because I've been in those places, and Philly. Oh my God.
Today?
Huh?
Today?
Yeah, those places are still ranked.
Well, I know New Orleans for sure is
high on the ranking of homicide.
I thought they were the top one again this past.
It flip flops between New Orleans and DC.
Okay, that's interesting. DC.
Yeah, I lived there for 7-8 months, just because I wanted the go-go feel. I wanted to feel what crank felt like, because it's like jazz. You can't learn jazz unless you're in it.
Yeah.
You see, it's cool to listen to it. You'll get the structure of it, but the feeling, you have to get it inside you.
Was music your only motivation for travel?
Absolutely. Main, I'm not gonna say the only. It was the main. The reason why I've lived in 8 different states is because New York, obviously.
Yeah.
I was just raised there. New Orleans, I needed to get the jazz in me. I moved to Atlanta when Atlanta was at the top of the apex. So when I think they got the Olympics in 88, early 90s.
Something like that.
Somewhere around that. And right after that, boom.
Yeah.
Took off. The production, everything moved there. South Carolina, I moved there because it was close to North Carolina and Virginia, and I had people in both those places. Philly, I moved there to get the soul sound.
That's cool.
Where else was I? Dallas, my last place, which is ironically my hometown. I was born here. Was obviously my last place of being. And come to find out, everything I've been searching for is all right here.
That's like, a movie quote.
Everything. I do mean everything. Hip hop.
Yeah.
Jazz, R&B,
it was all
pop.
in front of me.
It was all right here. I just never, because I always visited my dad 6 months. No more than, what's the 100 days of I being out of school? 3 months, something like that. 2.5, 3 months. The 100 days you're out of school until you got to go back to school again. Well, when I was in New York, I'd get shipped down here for the summer, stay the whole summer, go back to New York. And when I was in New Orleans, I'd stay, go. So everywhere I went, I would come back to Dallas only for the summer.
Okay.
I never stayed in Dallas except for one time. I stayed for a half a year. My mom missed the hell out of me at the time. And I got shipped on Delta and went back to New York at the time. So I only got to stay in Dallas a half a year the whole time. So I never, and my dad always moved around. But every time I come back, he's in Richardson this time. Oh. He's in Oak Cliff. Then he's in Plano. Then he's in.
At least he was consistent with the area, the DFW area.
Oh yeah. He knew there was no street he did not know, so he knew how to get around.
Awesome.
Because he was an auto mechanic, so he had to learn everything.
I was about to ask. He worked on cars.
Yeah, he's a master mechanic. He worked for Boeing. He worked in the cockpit. So when he left, being the only, at the time he was the first black supervisor of QC. So he was over close to 200 and something people. When he left Boeing to create his own business, cars was easy. Because he worked on a cockpit. So he was like, his main thing that I told him he should have made it out of a slogan when he made his business. Anything that runs off gas, I can fix it. That's cool. That is literally the truth. If it ran off gas, there was nothing he could fix. He was fixing cops. He was souping up cop cars so they can catch up to race cars. So the cops became his good friends. He would take other people's cars and kind of soup them up a certain way. So
just tune them a little bit.
Everything. It's like he can. When I pull up to his driveway or his shop, before he says hi to me, pop the hood.
I remember that.
Pop the hood. God dang it, Medrick, didn't I tell you to put the blah, 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 blah. Hey, how you doing, son? He would give me the...
Like, as soon as the hood is back down.
How you doing? How's your day? How's everything going?
How's the wife?
I gotta calm myself back down. How did you just come? You just turned up and then turned back down. How'd you do that? So, but that was an ongoing every time I went to the shop.
So funny.
He's like,
that's awesome.
Medrick, you're a quart low. He listened to the car. You were about a quart low on oil.
You pull it out.
And he'd go and get
pull the
oil.
dipstick out.
He wouldn't even pull the dipstick. He'd know. He'd just put a quart oil and then he'd pull the dipstick out. See? Told you.
This man.
And he just on cranking. I tried it one time. We had 15 cars. And I got all the keys to all 15 cars. And I blindfolded him one day. I turned on the car. BMW 750iL. Okay.
It's like you have 3 other BMWs.
And then, so I turned on this Toyota. Zoom. He was like, oh, wait a minute. That's 84, 80. No, that's 86. 86, box style, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, and he said, no, SE? CE. That's the CE version. And be right every time.
This dude has like what's his name? Like Charlie Puth's perfect pitch for like cars.
Cars, yeah.
That's hysterical.
But he would, that's why he would irritate him. Any kind of car he would get would almost be airtight, so he couldn't hear the outside. Because the irritation of people not having their transmission right, the irritation of people not having oil in their car, the irritation of not having antifreeze, he can hear, he can smell. Like, why?
Well, for some reason, he's on a certain spectrum where he can smell, see, and hear things that just aren't visible. Yeah,
that man was Superman for me for a long time, bro. Yeah, I miss him a lot. He passed this past November. Yeah. I miss him a lot. I didn't know how much I missed him until I think 3 weeks after, and it came down like a ton of bricks, but. I hear him also in my head going, boy, you better get to work. You know, what I tell you, go out there and be the best. You know, so that's always the like moment the moment I get on this decline, I hear him in my head. Okay, I'm back. So
it's cool.
Yeah, that dude was he was everything I am and more, because he was a musician, he was a track star, he was a basketball player, he was a singer, he wrote music.
Was he a drummer too? Mm-hmm. So was he James Brown era? So like funk, or was he like jazz? Or was
a little bit before that. So think big band.
Okay.
Big band and
more
then disco.
Rich.
So
okay.
Disco was dominant around the time he stopped playing. So he had.
Was he real into like
Ray Charles?
Was he real into like Art Blakely?
Yeah. He probably didn't know the names of the Sammy Davis Jr. Because Sammy was a multitasking individual.
And
he could play. He played everything. He played piano. He played trumpet. He played drums.
Sang
everything. Yeah. So he was that. That's his era of stuff. And if you couldn't do that, you wasn't talented. So around that era, they
really gave you like no choice but to be like good.
Yeah. 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 So think about everybody in that era. The whole Rat Pack. Yeah, they were singers, but they can also play piano. They can also play, a trumpet.
And they were some of the best
at it. So they didn't play it averagely. They played it to the highest of heights. So that's...
Josh Groban and Bruno Mars kind of remind me of that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They're on a similar level.
Mono Neon is about to be in that spectrum.
What is he doing?
His main thing is bass.
Yeah.
But he can play keys.
No kidding.
Now he's a singer. He's a composer. He's like composing serious music, and he is the closest thing that if you put George Clinton and Prince and put them together, he is that person, because he was the last bass player for Prince.
Really?
And he learned a lot of stuff listening to funk music from his parents. So he has all of that infused in him. So what we're hearing now from Mono Neon sounds new to a lot of people, because
but it's just regurgitated.
It's regurgitated, but on a higher level, as far as instrumentation.
Yeah, because basses, they're not at the forefront of the band.
Yeah, but he can lead an album with just his bass. Him and Thundercat, same thing.
Yeah.
So, Yeah, man.
We gotta give bassists a little more credit.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, next to drummers, we have to damn near know each other.
Yeah.
Like we got to go out and have dinner. I got to know what your daughter's into. I know when your anniversary is.
Yeah.
We got to be that locked in, because without those two people in the band being locked, everything else,
no rhythm.
The rhythm is gone. So think about any James Brown songs. Mm-hmm. Think about any Tower of Power songs. Think about any Earth, Wind, and Fire songs. All of them songs, the bass player and the drummer are stupid locked.
Yeah.
Stupid locked. To the point where they didn't have metronomes back then. They were the metronomes. Right. So, and it's just, how is September, the same tempo almost the whole song, except when it gets to the end, when it gets a little bit hyper, it changes tempo just so slightly. But to keep that consistency for 6 minutes without budging the tempo hardly, that is amazing.
Do you think people today compared to people of yesterday, do you think that we're given a little too much slack? Because just back to the Rat Pack conversation, best at what they do in almost every single aspect.
Right.
Whereas, people today just strive to be unbelievable at one thing. Do you think that, comparatively, it's disappointing the expectations?
No, I think it's technology. It's honest to God technology, because even to them, technology was born. So they had microphones, they had TV. So their predecessors would call them lazy.
No kidding.
You see what I'm saying? Because so right after them, before that, you wrote, you did everything yourself, and then you gave it to a band. Okay. Right after them was a producer giving you the music, getting a writer to write for you. All you did was sing. So those people right before him would call that person lazy. So it really is just technology and the times. So now, is there a form of laziness in each of those generations? Absolutely.
Yeah.
There is. I as much as I love the golden era of hip hop, there is some absolute whack shit that came out, and I can point them out. But there's more. Hip hop was still dense. It was still really, really close at the time, and we were still trying to figure out.
It was growing.
It was still branching out, and so Southern rap hadn't hit hard yet.
Yeah.
West Coast rap was in the process of taking over. Midwest wasn't even heard of. Canada, nobody was coming out of Canada yet. Asia had already adopted hip hop, but nobody heard from them yet. So it was still dense. So the further and further it got out, and the more it grew, the more of it you heard, and also as much good stuff you heard more lackluster stuff. Because now sponsors are involved. Radio is involved. Radio was only invented to create commercials, not to tell you what music to play. So it's only a broadcast system for commercials.
It's interesting.
Music was just a little cherry on top.
Yeah.
So you got 3 songs, 4 songs, and commercials. And the commercials was 10 minutes. And then you got 4 songs. So that's why it was a thing to non-stop, 30 minutes straight, all good music. And then people got tired of that. There was a 1 hour straight of just music. But what comes to that is the consequence of how many commercials am I going to listen to after this 1 hour?
The ad space, yeah.
Yes. And it became, if it wasn't a lot of commercials, those commercials paid so much money to be in that spot. They damn near took up the time in one or 2 different commercials.
Oh my God.
So, it's just honestly with I wouldn't say lazy. I wouldn't say lackadaisical. I would say technology has made it easier for people to be a different type of creative. I can now focus on being a drummer because I don't have to go get lessons. I can watch YouTube at my own time. So,
no, that's a very good point. That's a really good point. Part of me, is surprised that the old, I remember, on the first well, we can call it an attempt because it never came out. On the first attempt, we had a good talk about vinyl and how that's been making a good comeback.
Yes.
So I had the opportunity to sort of shadow a studio session with one of my buddies who raps, and the engineer who works there, Billy Sin, he has like all the toys. To me, it's all the toys. I wouldn't know any different.
Yeah.
But I would assume it's all the toys, and he has like tube compressors, all this stuff. Mm-hmm. And what we were doing is I showed my friend a Far Side song.
Ah.
Yes.
Nice.
Thank you. And so I showed him Runnin'.
Oh, one of the best Far Side songs.
I know. And it was funny because I showed him the song, and on the deluxe version of the album, they have just the instrumental of it.
Uh-huh.
And so what we would do is we would connect drums to like a headset that we were both wearing.
Uh-huh.
We would just like split that headset audio or whatever. This was before I had the mixer.
Yeah.
And we would just play along to it. And he ended up really liking it and started coming up with his own flow to it. And then he purchased studio time to actually record it.
Wow.
And I tell him the truth a lot of time. I don't want to say a deal of his stuff is not worth listening to. This is going to be, to me, if he advertises this properly, this is what's going to get him noticed.
Good.
And I'm happy I had a little finger.
Finger there, yeah.
I was in the room and did not much else.
Yeah.
But
that is a great freaking song, bro. I mean,
I've gotten it so into like the boom bap vibe.
That song, I don't know if you've noticed. Up there, look it up on YouTube. Look up the art of the song. Running. I'm sorry. Look up the art. It's called The Art of Far Side's Running, and it has Jay Dilla, and it shows the pattern, how most hip hop beats are 4 or 8 pattern beats, hands down. His is a 16 note pattern because he finger drummed the track for 16 bars, and then hit stop, and then it repeats. So if you listen to Running Away, the drum beat, especially kick drum, the kick drum is never the same. Ever.
That's right.
It's never, ever the same for 16 measures, 16 bars, and then it repeats.
I'm just trying to like...
Dilla was a monster, man. Dilla, that set him, amongst him being in a legendary group called Slum Village, that album from Far Side, that song Drop from them.
Passing Me By.
Well, Passing Me By he didn't do. That was the album before.
Okay. I thought that was on Labrication.
Nah, that was before.
Oh,
so
okay.
Running was the #1 single off of the second album. Mm-hmm. So Running, Drop, and I think they did one more song, but those 2 songs actually got them awards. Yeah, so that the way Dilla did that song set him apart from every hip hop producer.
Now you taught me something. I didn't know that was produced by Dilla.
Oh yeah, that's Jay Dilla all the way.
And I bet
both of those songs.
I probably should have known that. You live and learn.
Yeah, well, it's not many Jay Dilla tracks that's out in the public that I have not heard. Because as a drummer, that is the first time a machine felt like a person. And it's partially because he took jazz loops that was in triplets, tap to da, tap to da, tap to da, and put it in a 4/4 manner. So now you're but it was and it made it feel like it was behind the beat.
Yeah.
And I was genius. Nobody had done that before. That's one. Number 2, his bass lines, he would literally go get 5 different albums because he knows the bass in this one's going to say it's going doom. This one goes ding. This one goes So instead of finding an actual bass line from one song,
he took the time.
He took the notes from each album, put them together and made them sound, made them melodic. Just freak of nature, bro. Just freak of nature.
So, do you think was hip hop invented when the turntable mixer was like sort of perfected? Is that when hip hop was basically
invented?
Born?
Nah, it was before that. The disco era, actually, believe it or not, ushered in hip hop, because at the time,
like the disc jockeys and everything, they were doing new stuff in production.
Well, it was because disco had most of the same tempo. Mm-hmm. It was easy to go from one song to the next song as a blend. There was all of it was the exact same tempo. Everybody wanted to keep dancing. They didn't care what the next song was. It's the same beat, and it just kept going. So that's the end of disco and the beginning of hip hop. I'd say 1976, 1975, 1976, somewhere around that, was, I'm not going to say the death of hip-hop, the death of disco, but when hip-hop came in, the only samples that was just out there, because disco was so dominant, we took the disco tracks, which is, if you listen to Sugar Hill Gang, Good Times. Good times. That's the original song, but the Sugar Hill Gang used that instrumental.
Okay.
They used the beginning of the song and just kept looping the first four loops. And it wasn't until Grandmaster Flash, Grandmaster Flash created he didn't create the turntables, he created the transformer in between the turntables.
So it's that's sort of what I was trying to get to. I didn't know what it was specifically, and it's because I watched a Drunk History episode.
Okay.
With Questlove.
I got to see that myself.
Questlove has a Drunk History episode, and it's phenomenal.
Yeah, I bet you it is, because he's a real student of music, not just hip hop. He's a student of music, but because hip hop takes from everything else, he's a student. He's high up on the scale of just hip hop.
Oh yeah, I mean, you know a thing or two. You should write a book.
I can just say I was there. I watched it happen. I witnessed. I got to see it grow and see what happened when it hit the West Coast. See what happened when it hit the South. I got to watch all of it happen and know that I was in the other place, not because Bronx is where it was born. The other place that is next to the Bronx, known for hip hop the most, is Queens. I'm in the second most known place for hip hop, and I'm living it. I don't know what it's called. I just want to go to the get down. I just want to hang out with. It wasn't called anything yet, and I was just in it. So you don't know you're making history until you have the eagle eye spectrum. Like, oh wow,
we really did that.
We did that. Yeah. I was in the middle of all that. I'm surprised I'm not in pictures with my Kango, and because I was a break dancer. I did all that. Bro.
It's so funny you bring up the Kango, because this is so off topic. But my dad, he's about to be 61, and my brother and I, we were joking around, and we're awful human beings. My brother and I, we are just the scum of the earth, and we're like, Dad, you're kind of at that point in age where wearing a Kango would actually be fashionable. Mm-hmm. He's like, what's that supposed to mean? Oh, you're old. And there's not a good way to say it.
Oh yeah, you're older. There's a way to say it. Trust me, being an older person.
How would we do that?
Yeah, no.
There's no love lost between us. Oh my god. Yeah, we went all out for his 60th.
That's good.
I got with a graphic designer family friend of ours, and I took the time to design a brochure for a nursing home.
Wow. Dang.
I need to post it because this is it's just complete.
Wow.
It is brilliant. Yeah, you can take a look at that if you want.
Yeah, buddy.
Called it Shady Grave. It's called Shady Graves, and it is. If you know my dad, he's conservative, so we just had to throw in the Hillary Clinton Foundation community.
Ridiculous.
There's nuclear and and hazmat stickers all over.
The fact that you got Sundays shuffleboard
Sundays.
Nurse took my money Monday.
Tapioca. Look at Wednesday.
I'm done. I'm not going to even say that one.
Check out the test. So we also did testimonials, and we had to include Jack Eisenberg, which is actually my grandpa, and that's something he would say.
The staff is god awful, and the faculty is in no way up to standard. They reused the pins.
They just hang him on a clothesline.
The Jamaican nurse definitely stole my wallet.
That's something my grandpa would say.
Wow.
He would, and I'm not proud of that.
See how happy our residents are.
Wait,
that is freaking genius, bro.
And then that's just a cherry on top. That's the floor plans, just 3 different sized dog crates.
I should not be laughing this hard.
No, it was great. I need to post that,
bro. This is genius.
That's one of my best works. That's one of my best works.
Props from me.
Thank you.
Props from me. You got that.
Do you want one on your 60th?
No, I'm good. It's
really no trouble.
I'm great.
I know a guy.
I got you. No, thank you. It is funny as hell, though. I gotta say that I can see him laughing his ass off.
But it was cool because we got him a bottle of scotch, like a really nice bottle of scotch. Nice. Come to find out, none of us like it. It's a $200 bottle of scotch, and none of us like it.
Wow.
That's just sort of the karma in it for my brother and I. Is we pushed him to a point where it was just the karmic God saying, y'all aren't gonna like.
We're gonna sprinkle this. There you go.
Y'all spent so much money on something you're not gonna ever drink.
So now y'all gonna be offering it to anybody that comes to the house. You want some scotch?
It's basically just on the bar, collecting dust, looking pretty.
Wow, that's awesome.
We love it. I'm very upset I didn't go to yours.
Bro, it was so.
Because I saw the lineup that you posted.
Bro, it was so. I purposely put that lineup. Those artists, number one, I work with them already, but those particular artists, I thought needed more shine, and I was like, I think I have somewhat of a light. Let me at least let my other people that don't usually come out to these particular people, let them see why I in their bands. So out of there was 4 artists. Those are 4 of the 14 bands that I'm in, including the band that was playing, which is 5. So the band that was playing, that's Modern Vibes. It's Ayo Ari, incredible singer, songwriter, model, choreographer. Kinfolk Jack, which is like UGK, 8 Ball and MJG, Dallas, sucked in one person. It's just he just got it.
It's tight.
Juice Leroy, which is the play on his name alone should let you know he's just one of the best. Great lyricist. I have the greatest opportunity of producing one of the songs that's going to be on this upcoming album coming out. He performed that one live. Who else did I have on there? Oh, Nwambe. Nwambe is an R&B, international R&B soul artist. He has albums, and he asked me to be his drummer. So those 4 artists that I work with, people see me in pockets. So a lot of people that know that I play in BRANOOFUNK don't know I play R&B, don't know I play jazz, don't know I play gospel, don't know I play whatever the case may be. And people that know me for R&B has never seen BRANOOFUNK.
See, that's a shame because that's kind of like what you're known for now.
Well, now, but like say 2 years ago, I was known for Try More Mojo, my touring band.
Y'all have got to do another festival.
Oh, everybody's been asking for it.
I'm pissed I didn't go because my friends. I don't want to name drop him in case he watches it. He bailed when we were gonna go.
Yeah.
and I was like, well, I don't want to just stay in a tent by myself.
It'll eventually happen. We wanted to make it annual. Life has happened to where we can't make it annual. We actually because of life, we're not gonna tour actively like we were before. But what we have done is we started recording music. So we have somewhere near 50 songs, and starting I think next month, we're gonna come out all with the songs in threes. So it's gonna be try more funk, try more hip hop, try more jam, try more ambient, try everything. We're gonna have a style per EP. And so the first EP is gonna be try more funk, and oh man, it sounds good. It sounds good. I can't wait.
Like Nate Smith vibe.
Nate, Wolfpack.
Yep.
But still as a jam band. Still,
yep.
So it's really, really good. Really good. People are gonna love it. But then before them, I was known with Dirty Grooves. Then before that, I was known with my own company, the DJ and the Drummer Collective.
You still doing that?
Because I'm doing brand new funk primarily, I leave that to my employees. So I have drummers and DJs that do private events.
Do you still need my resume?
Right, all it takes is charisma. A kit. Yeah. You have to have your own kit, and you got to be able to travel because they travel a lot.
So it's interesting. The same studio that I got to shadow. They have a podcast room, which I'm trying to get studio time in. Nice. First, I have to learn how that equipment works because it's a little more than.
Yeah. Just a little bit.
Slightly more. And what else? So last week he had something called Freestyle Friday.
Okay.
Basically, just a bunch of local artists come in, and it's exactly what it is. He plays beats, and they just freestyle over them. Nice. So my friend Jalen, the one who got me in the first place, he's like, "Yo, what if we brought the drums?" And I'm like, "Well, we've done it before, and it worked. The only issue is that the last time we did it, it didn't work. So it wasn't our fault. That's the important thing.
Okay.
It was not our fault." So we were texting with Billy, and he's like, just bring it. I'll make it work. So, for the first hour or so, I'm so excited for him to release the footage. I'm playing along with all these rappers and,
nice.
Who are freestyling.
Okay. Nice. Yeah, I can't wait to see that.
So I had a lot of fun doing that.
That's awesome, man.
That's another reason why I would love to get an acoustic kit, because, I can actually do, stage stuff, actually get mic'd up.
Mm-hmm. Obviously, an electric kit has its benefits. If, especially nowadays, a lot of churches rather the electric kit.
Is it a space thing or?
Nah, it's acoustic thing. Because think about this: for every band, the drummer has to be the first person most of the time to do sound check. Because
it takes so long.
It takes not only long, but you're getting the most of the atmosphere of anything. Yeah. So in order to make the band sound really good, they gotta dial in the drums first, and then they can get to the guitar, the keys, the vocals, and all that other stuff. But if you start backwards, vocals, keys, and then you do the drums are either gonna drown everything out, or it's gonna be way in the background where you can't hear anything the drums are doing. So that's the reason why acoustic drums will always forever have a job. Mm-hmm. The electric drums, the benefit is now the engineer has the opportunity to kind of tweak, because now the adjustment is here.
He just has to plug in.
The adjustment is here, and his iPad. That's it. Now, even if it's too loud out there for a moment, he can just go.
It's true.
So, but the downfall is wiring.
Let me tell you, that is
it's the only downfall. Now they're getting better with the newer kits. It's less wiring. It's more in the motherboard.
They're making it more linear.
Yeah.
Because with this, I just have like just a spider web of stuff I have to untangle, and hopefully it's in the right spot by the time I'm actually putting the headphones on.
So you hit this, it's the snare. Dang.
I do the kick. It's my crash cymbal.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
All right, something's not right.
Right. So but there's benefits in having it because now you're not just suppressed with one kit. Now you have the option of many kits and many custom sounds you want. So you can make your kit sound as acoustic as possible.
It's true.
So that's there's benefits in both.
It's as possible, but it's not.
Yeah. Now, once again, there's the downfall of it. The feel of an electric kit is nowhere near the same as the acoustic.
I think. I think I would need to get a new snare because mine is definitely like way too loose.
Well, it's not even. It's just
soft.
a texture.
It's a soft.
And the bounce from a stick back.
No electric kit has it right.
There's one, but it costs almost.
Is it like one of the Roland ones? That's like $6,000.
Yeah, I think it's even higher than that.
Or is it like an Alesis one or something?
Alesis is getting closer than everybody else so far.
You think?
I know.
Roland's flagship one, the one that they basically made to look like what, so it's basically like an unnecessarily large
Yeah. Pearl tried to do the same thing, make an electric kit look like an acoustic kit, and that's all it does is look like an acoustic kit.
What's funny is I was recently on the Yamaha website because that's what this is. Mm-hmm. This is I don't even know how old this is. It's almost a decade old if I had to guess. Mm-hmm. I would say that this is still better than like
some of their newest stuff.
Well, I mean, just cost wise.
Oh yeah.
Because their newest stuff doesn't have half of what this has.
Absolutely.
And at the time, I think when my dad got it, he said it was 18.
Yeah, just about. You can take one of these pads and make it a trigger. It is guaranteed. In a concert, you have to have triggers now. Like I can't get a gig a certain amount, not be a certain amount of money if I don't have triggers. And so, or if I don't have the trigger pad.
What's the trigger? Is it just a one unique noise?
Sometimes. So it might be a clap sound. Most of the time it's either a clap or a snap sound. Which there's a symbol now, of course, that is called a clap stack. That is
$600. What up?
That symbol is the closest, but it's still only one sound. Yeah. So, but if I have a pad that can go from a clap, hit a button, go to a snap, go hit another button, I can get the Jamaican horn, pew, 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 go from that to get somebody going, woo, and then have, just
having the whole interface.
Having the limitless options.
I had a good talk with Jared Falk when he was on.
Okay. Yeah. I forgot. Yeah, that was a great one, bro. That was a great one.
Appreciate it. We had a really good conversation about how hybrid drums have just sort of like taken over gigs. Yeah. I forgot what his name was. Jared told me, and of course I forget.
I think I already know what you're talking about.
Shawn Mendes' drummer.
No, it's not him. This guy that starts with a W. Woltek?
Wojtek.
Yes.
I can't.
He's probably the best hybrid drummer out.
Oh, I've seen. You've seen the video where he has the acoustic kit,
whole set,
and he's just rotating.
Yeah, the
he's
whole
so
set.
good.
I actually
I follow him. Yeah.
My post is liked. What I posted under his is liked more than all the posts because I put it was something like I need the amount of money it takes to have this whole setup. Yeah. And everybody agreed like, yes. So it's just one of those things that the moment he started playing, he started on the electric, then he turned and rolled into.
He was doing the fill into the groove onto the acoustic. Yep.
Come on, guy.
Who does that? Well, who has the money for that?
Yeah.
I guess that's a very fair. But we were also talking about NAMM too. First time you came on, which, as we mentioned, failed. Yeah. It's okay. We've grown. He said verbatim what you said. I asked, how does a regular person go to NAMM? You said, you go.
Yeah, you just gotta go.
I asked him, how do like I'm not an influencer. Mm-hmm. a nobody who just likes to play drums. Just go.
Just go.
So it's interesting because he's like, this year they're planning on making it a little more. I don't know what he said. If it was not mainstream, I guess accessible. Because it's like, where do you purchase NAMM tickets? And then the first link that comes on is like, apply for a badge.
Yeah.
You know, and that's not what you're looking for.
Right.
You need just the standard guest pass that lets you be a part of everything.
Yeah.
Like everyone else.
Because it's essentially Toys R Us for musicians.
Mm-hmm.
And their job is to showcase the new stuff that's about to come out or that's popular now. And they're looking at you to go, ooh. And now the influencers are there playing for free. It'll make you buy what's there.
Because it's like, I can sound as good as he.
You can, wait a minute, you tell me this little box is the kit? This little piece, this little box?
Those little gig or compact kit, I don't even know, suitcase kits, like whatever you call them. That's what kind of like, I saw a video Drumeo reposted about NAMM, and like they did a whole video on like comparing them, and I was like, that's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. It's not a Cajun kit.
No.
It's just, you build it up and it's right there.
Mm-hmm.
So I just like started just binging all this NAMM content, and I was like, I'd like to go to Disneyland.
Just go. Just go, and obviously know that you're going to see your favorite people. You're going to see your YouTube influencers. You're going to see all your Instagram influencers.
And that's another thing. Do you meet your heroes, or do you just get a picture?
No, you meet them and get the picture. They're going to want the picture because they're part of their job being there is to meet you.
Well, it's also, I guess, like you're not meeting like Michael Jackson or anything like that.
Well, there's no Michael, but
fair. I hold my tongue on that one.
It's with him, people would faint, like immediately.
Yeah,
and
no one has that stage presence.
There's
not a human being alive.
He's still the only person to stand in one spot. He jump out the floor, stand in one spot.
That Super Bowl performance.
Hell, he did it in Japan longer. He was in Japan. He stood there for 2 minutes before he moved, and all he did was poof, and the crowd just fainted. Yeah. And then 2 minutes later after that, then he finally sings a song.
Because they have to clear the crowd.
Yeah. They literally was pulling people. They're like, you know how people like jump and then crowd surf. Yeah. They crowd surfed or fainting people to the security person so he can take them out. That's how. No.
Be like Mike.
Anyway, NAMM is definitely a place that I once again just go, and when you come back, you will love it. I'm trying to figure out how am I going to get to Ground Up Fest, Florida, which is Snarky Puppy's from here festival in Florida every year in February.
You know a guy.
Oh, he's already invited me.
So go.
It's easier said than done because you gotta go knowing you're gonna spend money.
Well, tell him to pitch in for ticket money. Made like another ticket.
And all I want to do is be behind the stage. I want to be.
You'd rather not perform?
Oh no. Especially my first time going, I do not want to perform.
That's a good point.
I want to be behind the stage. I want to see how it feels like. There's some of it I want to be in the crowd. I want to experience the behind the stage and in front of the stage and just have that badge to be able to do both. Then with that badge, I can now meet the person coming off stage. I can meet Victor Wooten. I can meet Dennis Chambers. I can meet Tony Royster Jr. Well, Tony Royster lives here, but
Victor Wooten has a great video.
He has so many.
He has a great video. I'm not even talking about a playing one. Just him basically explaining theory isn't hard.
That's at Ground Up. That's at Ground Up Fest when he did that.
And
because Mike League is standing there. He's sitting there going like this. He almost at, why didn't I think of that?
And when I heard that, I was like years earlier. I was self-teaching myself saxophone, and I was like, no one ever thought to say, "Hey, look at that."
Yeah.
Just direct your attention to this guy. He'll make it make sense.
Yeah. He made all his complexity. He has a video where he's like, "Oh, everything is only 8 notes." Everything.
What do you mean?
And then he goes, oh, here.
Yep.
Now, you play them notes, and you play them in certain combinations, and then you add these two fingers, and now you have a chord, and then you have this. So everything is a combination of this. And if you can't do any of everything I can do, if you can do this better than me, then you're better than me. Because the foundation of, like with drums, if you can do rudiments, once you start spreading your hands out, you can play drums. Then you realize, wait, I don't have just hands, I have feet. So now if I spread everything that I know in rudiments to my hands and my feet at the same time, I split them up. Oh my God. So now my first beat my first rudiment that I made into a beat was a paradiddle. Because it's...
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, how can I make that into a funky beat? So I'm just listening to James Brown, and guess what? Most of his stuff is paradiddles. I'm like, oh, snap. Now, of course, there's ghost notes in between that. Once I learned how to do ghost notes.
See that?
Woo.
And then, like, that symbol in between.
Oh, my God.
Hi-hat in between. Yeah, that just a little spice.
Now, I found out part of the trick to that is keeping this
constant
as your tempo keeper. Now, as long as you're doing that and you're doing that same funk beat, that hi-hat thing that sounds like so complex when you're trying to get it in between, it automatically happens. So all you're doing is just sitting there. And
you've told me that before, and I'm being the typical stubborn dummy I am, and listening more to this song like.
Yeah, you're trying to catch the.
And then it's like, why don't I just keep it just moving and see what happens? And I'm like, this is why he told me to do that, isn't it?
Yeah. Now once I found out how that sound was produced, 16 notes with this hand and quarter notes here, I was like, oh, well, that's opening up a whole nother lane. So then I learned how to ride 16, keep this here, and then take my hand and go from hi-hat to snare. I was like, oh, open up a whole nother lane.
And you learn what a ride pattern is.
So it just all because of the foundation. Once you keep going back to all of my favorite crazy playing drummers that can play their butt off and as clean as possible. Their warm-ups are all the same. Singles, paradiddles, radamucules, herders, and then they're done. They'll do a 5-minute warm-up, and they do that religiously before every gig. Yeah. And then, of course, stretching and stuff like that. Tony Royster is the main guy that got me into stretching because he was like, you can be fast, but you can't be fast forever if you don't stretch.
He is himself in his own league.
Yeah.
I don't know anyone who can play rock, rap, funk, or metal to the consistency or degree that he can.
Put it like this. He was the main drummer for Jay-Z. At the same time, he was the main drummer for Katy Perry. Think about that. And on top of that, he did a Red Bull commercial. If you ever look online, go Tony Royster, Red Bull. And on the spot, they had a track and they didn't have drums to it. And he said, we just want energy. He goes in, listens, and in one take, kills the song. And the engineers are sitting there like, this is exactly what we wanted. This is it. One take. He just sat there and listened to it the first time, like, okay, I'm ready. Go ahead, turn it on. It's but he's such a student of music. And he's been playing drums since he was 3. He did a Tony Williams tribute when he was 11.
No one does that.
First of all, you got to know how to play.
And then you have to know who Tony Williams is.
Then you got to know who Tony Williams is.
At 11. Then
you got to mimic Tony Williams to give a tribute to Tony Williams. What? That amazes me every single time.
I think we should test him for performance enhancers. There's something going on.
He's the coolest person you'll ever meet.
Oh, I'm sure he is.
First time I met him in person, he came in on my drum. It's me, Cleon Edwards.
He's a man himself.
And Tayron Lockett. and they're playing on a song that I'm putting on my album, and he comes in to my session because he hears the drums from outside, and I walked in and I'm recording. I'm sitting there. And we stopped the first take, and he goes, "This is great. Hey, Cleon, is this your song? Tayron, is yours? And he looked at me. I'm like, "Hi, my name's Medrick. A lot of people just call me MEDZ." He was like, "Yeah, man." He kind of got, "I know who you are, but I don't know who you are" type thing.
Like
Shook hands.
Like I've heard of you.
And that's what I was like. He was like, "Yeah, well, I'm Tony." I'm like, "I know who you are. You ain't got to explain."
That would make me feel real good if someone like him was, "Yeah, man, I heard of you."
Yeah, so because obviously social media is dominant around this time.
We know the same people.
So we all know the same people. We're all mutual friends with all the same drummers. So he's seen me and he's heard me play. He just couldn't figure out if I was a band or something. He was just trying to, "I know you." I'm like, he said, "Well, I'm Tony." I'm like, "I know who you are, bro. I study you." And the second time I officially met him, he had told me he moved to Dallas. And I was like, "Oh, cool." And then 2 weeks before my birthday jam, he sees my setup, my hip-hop setup. And he goes, "All right, I've seen everything in my life. I ain't never seen this. Is this for style?" I'm like, no, it actually means something when you sit behind it.
It works.
And when he was like, "I'm going to be back. And you got to show me what this is all about." And he came back and he heard me play. He was like, "Dang, that makes sense. Okay, all right." And we chopped it up a little bit. And he was just telling me how he's doing and everything, how his life is going. And touring, he was on a break for like a month or so from touring. But he's getting ready to go right. He was going right back with Katy Perry. And I was like, all right. So, but yeah, so all of these people are big influences, and all of them always tell me go back to square one, go back to the rudiments. The moment you feel inadequate about your playing, about how complex you can play, go back to your rudiments every single time, and it works every single time. Because it's just, all right, what's my ABCs? Yeah. So once you know your ABCs, now you can compound words. You can compound bigger words and bigger words. Now you don't even have to think about how to spell it. Now it just comes out. The moment you get to that point where you can't get the sentences and get it all right again, go right back to ABCs. Yeah. So, but yeah.
I wanted to ask you something before we wrap up.
Okay.
And just I have to bring it up because I'm tooting my own horn. When I was talking with Jared, he said that there was sort of almost an animosity among old and young drummers just due to play style. The older drummer, I don't want to speak for them, I guess is more about pocket and groove, and young drummers are more into chops and fills. Why is there aggression towards it? And like, obviously there's not a right answer, so I can't ask you that, but what's the right balance?
Well, here's the situation. When you're young, you're almost ADHD behind the drum set. So you want to hit everything. Facts. Yeah. When you're older, you're realizing I don't have to get my point across. So it's almost like when you're in.
That just sounds like we're musically immature then.
It's not, but some people like a JD Beck is mature at a young age. He figured out the right in between. Made his own style very complex, but it's
because it works.
It works for him. That's his style. But he can play the simplest of simple. He was in a country band before he got famous. He was in a country band. So imagine the guy we know right now being able to play the exact way he's playing right now, playing country music.
Well, see, and that's funny because I want to have I want to have a meetup with him the way you do with Tony. He's like, "Oh, do we know each other?" It's like,
yeah, we
kinda.
Yeah,
not really, but kinda.
So the it's not really as far as the question goes, it's not really
like a balance.
There's not really a raft between the two people. It's just an understanding level. The young people don't understand why groove, why we talk groove all the time.
And preach about pocket.
Yeah. As we got older, we forgot how much we loved being the youngster and being able to do all the acrobatics. Now, can these people still do it? Yes. Because if you look at a Spud, you look at a Ralph, you look at a Mason, all these major guys, Steve Jordan, he can do all that stuff.
Mark Giuliani can really shed too.
It's so many.
And you don't hear him shed. You don't hear him shed a lot, but
right.
you know.
You don't, but you know they can.
Yeah.
Ralph being Stevie Wonder's drummer is, if you watch him play, he is the percussionist and the drummer at the same time.
Is that just how his kit's built?
This tom is here. This tom is here. Floor tom is here. 2 snares over here. Cowbell, cymbals, and 2 bongos. Or a bongo set. And he is playing like this the whole time. But he's keeping, if you're just listening, just without looking at him, you're thinking there's 2 people. You're thinking there's a percussionist playing and a drummer playing simple.
So is that where you grabbed your inspiration from your kid?
No, well...
I mean, I know it's your own, but...
Well, no, part of it is accident. So my accident happened because I had both cymbals on a bracket, and I didn't have them tight enough. So the first one, while I'm playing, slipped this way. And I was like, I'm in the middle of a song, and I'm like, and I hit it, and it tilts.
The ride that's like that?
Yeah, it tilts. And so I'm like, oh, crap. And I hit it, and I was like, wait, the bell is right there. Huh.
And then the bow is just a little bit closer to you.
And I'm like, and I don't have to go far to get to the ride. All right, so then the next gig, I made it that way. And I kept this cymbal straight. And then it started making more sense to tilt it just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. So it gradually became what it has. It wasn't me like trying to get a niche. It makes sense in hip hop to have 2 snares instead of 5 toms.
And because, yeah.
You don't use many toms in hip hop.
But you need a fat snare.
So the fat snare becomes either a tom or a snare.
Yep.
So what they've nicknamed now is snom. So you get a snare that can become a snom. You have a snare most of the time, or now.
Well, they just have like a little circle thing you put over it.
Now you can. I have it on several. I have it on my main snare. Big fat snare drum is really good at it. There is snare weight that gets the ring out and does that same thing. But big fat snare drum is probably the most popular that you can do. You can do it with paper. You can do it with clothes. Yeah. It's just the fact that they made it convenient to where they made, and then they put, you got tamarines on it. Some of them, you got shaker on another one. But those type of things in hip hop is more dominant than playing chops. Because when you hear a song like Shook Ones from Mobb Deep, there's nothing but kick, snare, hi-hat. There's no cymbals. It's just kick, snare, hi-hat. There's no reason for anything else. So when I'm in BRANOOFUNK, I play primarily that, and I play the words. So I play off the words and the syllables to the song. And then when I do come over here for fills, it's to make it feel like we're in a concert with Mobb Deep. And when I hit the crash cymbal, it's to make it feel like we're in a concert with whoever I'm playing. If I'm playing a DMX song, it's to make it feel like DMX got a band behind him. And when I first started doing any DJ drummer thing, there's always people running to the stage looking for the band. And then they realize it's just a DJ and a drummer. And the first thing they go is, oh, wait a minute. It's always a disappointment first, like, oh, it's just a DJ and a drummer.
And they're like, wait, but how?
Yeah, so they're like,
what's going on?
And then the mental metronome you have to have for the songs. Number one, you got to know the songs. Because I'm not just playing the song straight through and the song drops out and I'm still playing. No, I am gapping. I'm taking out and then I'm coming back when the song comes back in. I'm playing the words and the syllables to wherever the words are and stuff like that. So that style of that particular style that I'm now famous for, that setup is comfortable. It's the reason why I'm able to play for 4 hours straight. I'm not reaching for anything.
It's kind of like what Benny Greb has going on. He has like a variety.
Everything is flat.
Yeah, he has real just.
Everything is flat with him. His first tom is right there. His cymbal is right there.
I tried doing something with the hi-hat being in line with the toms. I couldn't quite get it.
He has his hi-hat slightly this way instead of being right here. It's just ever so slightly right here, which makes him almost have an open-handed playing style. So he's able to faster.
Yeah.
And he always has a cymbal faced out this way. And he doesn't have to rush to get back to any cymbal. He can go straight there. So it's just, his style is perfect for him, and he sits above the drum set.
Yeah.
So everything is right there. He hardly sweats. Hardly sweats when he's drumming, unless the spotlight is on him. So, man, it's the same thing with me. Whether it's in hot outside or cold in the winter, it's the only way you know I'm sweating is when you give me a hug or when you touch my back.
Yeah.
Then you feel my shirt. But as far as like absolute drenching, and I don't do much of that. Now, when I'm playing with Try More Mojo, because my stuff is actually set up traditionally, then you see that come out of me more. And that's within a 2-hour time frame. An hour to 2 hour time frame while I'm playing with them. I sweat more doing that than ever with BRANOOFUNK. And it's also because my adrenaline is extremely high.
Yeah.
Because the love I have for hip hop music is so DJ Menace knows exactly what to play to get me going. If he feel like I'm getting tired, just feels like I'm getting tired. I know what to do. Bang, and he puts the song. I'm like, oh, there it is. So now it's like I got a 5-hour energy drink, and I'm gone all over again. But yes, it's a beautiful, beautiful situation. But once again, going back into the young and the old, it's just the fact that it's just a younger person and an older person. Now, does it happen where you'll have an older person that will chop their butt off? Yes. Do you have a young guy that can groove his ass off and that's how he gets paid? Yes. But it's a very rare crossover. And when you get somebody that's right in between, oh my God, that person is usually the most paid drummer out there, i.e., Chris Dave. Chris Dave can do everything that all the youngsters can do, and he can do everything all the older guys do.
Fraser Moore is almost like that.
He is.
He was Ariana Grande.
He's a
No, that's Aaron Spears.
Yeah, both of them.
Oh, okay.
Aaron, especially Aaron. Aaron has all the chops in the world. Has no traditional training. No traditional. Think about everything he does. No traditional training.
All the crossovers and shit.
All made up because it's what he heard or what he saw somebody do, and he just made it his own.
He has gospel chops though.
But most gospel chops come from triplets.
Yeah.
It's a triplet based situation. It's 1, 2, 3 kick, 1, 2, 3 kick, 1, 2, 3 kick, and then now you go, okay, what if I add 1, 2, 3, 4 kick, 1, 2, 3, 4 kick? So now you start adding stuff. Now you start subdividing. Okay, I don't want to get all this away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 kick. What if I subdivide it? Now I'm back in the fours again. 1, 2, 3, 4 kick. 1, 2, 3, 4 kick kick. 1, 2, 3, 4 kick kick kick. Yeah. So now you're subdividing in between, and now you're sounding like you're faster than what you really are, just that quick. And then combine that with your speed that you actually have, because Aaron's speed is ridiculous.
And then,
yeah. So, and he plays for Usher, plays for everybody.
He's just that guy.
But his once again, being that he comes from gospel, he also can take instructions, because a lot of gospel people had to learn how to take instructions. So you're listening to the musical director, and you can remember. He can think about remembering a whole concert, all the hits, all the new, not the songs. Not the way the song is played, but the way the musical director has trained you how to play it. So instead of going bang, ka-doom, doom, ka, instead of doing that, they might have stuff like bang, ka, ka-doom, doom, ka, bang. So now you got to remember all that for a whole concert, not for one artist. not for 2 artists, not for 3 artists. He's playing for 4 major artists and doesn't write doesn't have any sheet music, doesn't write anything down. It's all memory.
He's definitely on PEDs.
Yeah. You stop it. he's just, and he's if you ever see him playing, he's so casual, chewing gum, just
making his grocery list.
Yeah, just wonder what my mom is doing. Just gone. So I've obviously, every drummer strives to be as free as people like Mike Mitchell. Mason is probably my prime example of a free drummer. He can do anything that he puts his mind to. He has 3 cymbals, no cymbals on this side. It's 3 cymbals here, hi-hat, snare, floor tom, nothing else. And he does everything that people do with 15 cymbals and 15 toms. And he makes it sound like a full-fledged kit. I will send you one. And the fact that he liked one of my videos last week.
Mason?
Oh my God. Why did he do that? And he's so personable, but he has my phone number. I have his phone number. So he knows who I am. And he's also, if he ever comes back to Dallas, he doesn't like the drummers admiring him from the crowd. He invites all the drummers to be around him
while he's happen.
I want you to see and feel me right here instead of hearing me out there. So come to the stage. Every concert, he has all the drummers come to the stage so you can see what he's doing. He's absolutely free.
I'm going to take your phone and go through your contact list.
It's amazing, I have to say.
Just a slight flex.
I have to say, I'll go through it myself.
You've gone to that point, to be fair, too.
And then I purposely, I put everybody in parentheses now. So even if I know what they do, I put them in parentheses. So if I ever need a sub or anything like that, I can go drummer. And then all my drummers follow. And then as I'm going through, I'm like, oh my God, I have all these, same thing with keys. I'm like, oh my God, man, all the bass players and all the, so.
And then there's just Ethan.
Just stop it. So now under you, if you ever look, when you do look in there, is drummer and podcaster.
Hey.
So I have you in there as specific. Everybody that does multiple things, I always make sure I go back and then correct their stuff or edit their stuff. So I know who, if I need a host, I type in host and I have 15 hosts that I can do things. So it makes life easy for me instead of
especially with your business and everything. Yeah.
With me being in 14 bands trying to sub things out.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Really. Yeah.
So yeah, man. That I've worked hard to get here, and I'm happy to be here at 46. So.
And there's still plenty of life.
Oh man, I am just getting started.
I mean, BRANOOFUNK taking off with the American Airlines space.
And that's the
beginning.
And that's the one thing I can talk about right now.
Where's your tape?
What? Oh, my album?
Yeah.
The album is I'll say it like this, and I'm gonna say this as politically correct as possible.
Well, you don't have to.
No, I will, because I like the people that I'm being politically correct about.
Okay.
I will say, never let a favor hold you back from continuing doing what you want to do. So, me owing you a favor, and you cash in on that favor, now it's almost like you got to wait on me because I haven't paid you. I'll get to it because it's your favor. I'll get to it. Just wait. You're getting it for free. Shut your mouth. I'll get to it. So I've learned, which is a great learning thing from my MEDZ album, I've learned the next thing I do, I'm paying everybody. I don't care how much we're friends. I don't care how long we've been knowing each other. I don't care what favors you owe me. For this, because I want it done in a certain time, in a certain space, in a certain way, I'm gonna pay you for it. So when it comes back and I say something like, hey, I'm glad you sent it to me, but I need it to be a little bit more aggressive, or I need a little bit, little. Man, look, I did a favor for you, so just take it. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But if I pay,
it's the incentive. Yeah.
Now it's a business transaction.
It also takes more of a priority than a favor.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm now at a point where I'd rather pay than get the favor. Yeah. I'll cash the favor in on something else, but on my projects, nah. And I'm also taking that into consideration with all my life. So I'm very careful on cashing in favors. Very careful, because now when I get the favor, I'm specific about when I need the favor done, and on what the favor needs to be done. Here's the task. Yeah. I need this done at a certain time. You got it? Yes, cool. So I don't ever want that. Come on, man, it was just a favor, so I did it. Just get out my face about it. That type of thing. So that is the tug of war that I'm having that I've had with my MEDZ album. Mm-hmm. Now I'm past that. So I've already started working on it again. I've already paid other individuals to do what I asked a favor for somebody else. So it's already done. So the moment I paid this person, it was done the next day. God. When I've waited on a year for somebody else with a favor. So once again, it taught me a lesson. So, and I love the people that I have the favor for.
Well, also, I think like it really speaks to the fact that you're going forth and putting more into the investment side of it. Mm-hmm. That's going to speak to the end product. Yeah, yeah, and then of course it's your baby. You want your baby to come out a certain way. 100%.
So that being said, and once again, it's great to have favor when it's happening. It's horrible to have favor on the way. Like, yeah, I got you, bro. I'll get it. I got you.
Like, I owe you one.
Yeah. Like, if this was a favor, like, I'll get to you when I can. And then you see me do 15 other podcasts because they paid me. Like, what? Bro, you ain't even done mine yet. I was the first. What the? Yeah. I'll get to you, bro. I'm just busy right now. It's a favor. I'm busy right now. You see what I'm saying? So that's why, one of the reasons why when somebody does ask me a favor, I make it like they paid me. Like, okay, let's make a date for it. Let's get it done. Let's do it. Same thing I did with you. I was like, okay, well, as soon as you said, all right, Medrick, I'm ready for the podcast. All right, let's set a date. Let's get it.
I was shocked that you had Tuesday free.
I was shocked that I had this Tuesday free.
I mean, we've been going for this long. I'm surprised you haven't gone to.
Oh, I gotta go. I do.
Oh, you do?
But I do have a rehearsal after this. But yeah, I told them that I was gonna be behind. I know all the music already, and I sent a track with every single song. So I have a substitute drummer as a track that I've already sent out. So when I get there, I'll just play with them. So I set provisions and set everything to where I can stay a little bit longer.
You really see the big picture.
I try. I can't say it happens all the time, but I do my best to make sure, because my calendar is full, so how do I make gap times happen? My calendar is full, so how do I make family time happen? Yeah. My calendar is full, so how do I make, what I like to do? Fun time, just for me. I like to go to the arcade and play Marvel vs. Capcom 2. It's my favorite game of all time. I like spending 2 hours, literally 2 hours, on that one game.
That's so cool.
So, those are just like little things I like to do, and now I'm making music on my MPC. Now it's not a hobby anymore. It's now I'm making money off of it. So
that's awesome.
As long as I keep the hobby mentality, I'm not worried about making the money. That's gonna happen. Just make the product. Keep making the product, and people gonna notice. But if I stop and go, okay, I'm gonna make this song for you, now I'm slowing my own process down. So I just keep making music. Somebody says, hey, what's that? I want that one. Yeah. Okay, cool. I keep making more music. What's that? I want that one. So that's happening more and more. I have 3 placements this year coming, starting in March. One for hopefully it gets picked up by a sitcom. I'm really hoping it does. It's on Peacock.
What do you mean?
Like, one of my tracks is going to be picked up by, hopefully it's between 2 or 3 songs. being picked up by Peacock. I have a song that I'm getting ready to introduce to ESPN that is worth like an ESPN type situation.
It's worth buying 2K just to listen to it.
Yeah, it's one of those songs like the intros, the moment you turn on your game.
Oh,
that
sick,
type of thing.
Yeah,
it's one of them get you hyped to want to play the game type songs. Or if it doesn't make the game, it makes the ESPN theme, like to where the moment ESPN comes on, they're talking about college football, this song comes on.
Yeah,
it's one of those songs, and I'm holding on to it strictly for that. I'm learning about who to present it to.
Well, Menace could Well, I don't know if he has a contact with EA or whoever got his.
He got his through. He's got so many goddamn connections, bro. You think I got connections?
Yeah, I want to have him on because then I can really steal his phone.
Menace is. He was closer to being signed as an MC than I was. I was going to be signed on Raw because I think he was going to be signed on Def Jam.
God.
Yeah. So he was on a major label. I was on an independent that was going to be major label. He has ties with the Beastie Boys. He has ties with MC Search from Third Base. He has ties with Killer Mike. As you could tell on the song, he's got Killer Mike rapping over his beat the entire song. So he's got ties. Royce the 5'9". He's got ties with. It's endless. Like he's played me his music, and it's every time a feature comes, I'm like, how do you know this person? Oh yeah, well, I chopped it up with Raekwon the Chef from Wu-Tang Clan and blah blah blah. And what?
Back up. You did what with it? Yeah, we just tripped it up, made a couple songs.
Yeah, we smoked a little bit and talked a little. What? So he's.
So is part of it him is like he's just in the right place at the right time too, or is it just through these connections?
Well, he's a DJ. Well, a lot of people forget he's an international DJ. So you're looking at a superstar in public on Sundays.
What do you mean? Where's he done?
97.9 The Beat. He's on there every day. He does a mix every day. 97.9 The Beat.
Yeah.
Then he has another station that he goes to, and he does another hour or 2 hours there. He has a broadcast, I think, somewhere in Florida where he's from. He's been a DJ primarily most of his life. An actual DJ for a radio station or a DJ for big private events where it has like
corporate stuff.
Not corporate. I'm talking like artists.
Oh shit.
That's where most of his connection. And then on top of that, he's an artist himself. So his connections are endless. You gotta come because he's interviewing you on the radio station.
Yeah.
You gotta come because he's the DJ that's playing your stuff in the club. You gotta come see him because he's the MC that is MCing on your. He's the producer on your song. His connections are endless, and we don't abuse each other's connections. It's timing with each other's connections.
Y'all just have your own near limitless value. It's like hard. It's like at that point you wouldn't even overpower the other because you guys just have like such a complete contact.
Yeah, it's just like if what I have, whether it's a person or what I'm doing, is beneficial to what we're talking about, I'm pulling that. Same thing with him. If what he has is valuable to what we're talking about, he pulls that.
Yeah.
So I didn't know we was gonna get open up for the Jizza. He was like, "Yeah, the Jizza's coming, huh?" And then it was just a huh. And then the next week he was like, "Yeah, we're opening for the Jizza." Wait, what? For the Wu-Tang? He was like, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know. They should have let me know.
He was like, well, I'm friends with such and such and such and such. I'm like, what? Wait, what? And then the same thing with me. He was like, man, we really need to get in this venue. We need to get in this venue. I'm like, well, okay, cool.
Hold on a second.
Hold on a second. I'll make a phone call, and then I'll make a phone call. And I'm like, all right, so we're there on Saturday. How? Well, I know that guy used to be the drummer for such and such. And so we work hand in hand off of booking stuff and getting things done. And this year, especially for Brand New Funk, I really feel we are on the cusp of not being in Dallas too much longer. Not for because right now we're doing every Sunday.
Yeah.
We're getting to the point where we're getting ready. That's gonna take me on tour. That's gonna be the next thing to take me on tour.
What do you think it's gonna be like? The Mavs are gonna have you on retainer or something?
Nah, it's gonna be an artist that's gonna want us to open up for him. Because we're the perfect opener. We literally play especially if you're an absolute hip hop head. We're playing all the stuff you grew up listening to, and then your favorite artist comes out and play. You're winning all the way. It's not just I'm not just a drummer just playing to the song. I'm a drummer that is infused in the music, and people hear it. So people that know the song, when I play the syllables of certain songs, I saw what you did there. When I play certain things, I come out and then I come back in. You can see the crowd go, "Oh, I did not see him doing that." And most drummers would have played straight through that. So, or when they'll see me playing the song and I'm rapping the song at the same time while I'm playing.
Yeah.
They're like, "This dude knows this song." So that happens. All that stuff happens all the time, especially when we're playing at the Armory. And there's a lady that walked up to me. She said, "Did you just sing? Did you just rap the whole song while playing the song?" I'm like, "Yeah." I said, "Wow, that is amazing." I'm like, "Well, it's ingrained in me, so it's a reflex."
Yeah.
I didn't even know that I was rapping while I was playing. I love this song so much. I know I know the breath to the song. I know everything about this song. So, I'm rapping and then I'm taking the beat out, coming back, and then I'm putting the syllables while I'm rapping, and it's just, I love it. And then MENACE just now to the point where he's like, "I don't want to do a show without you." Like,
that's sweet.
Now think about
that's
the
sweet.
drummers I know. And I say, "Hey bro, I can put such and such in the seat." He stops me. "No, I'm not doing the show. We're canceling the show." Like, "No, wait, he's Grammy Award winning, 5-time Grammy Award winning." I don't care. He's not you. So,
yeah.
And that's almost the way I feel if somebody tries to do things. Now, mind you, I play in several DJ drummer aspects, but for me to do exactly what I do with MENACE,
it's not the same.
There's a synergy that me and him have without even looking at each other. So, yeah, I do DJ drummer things across the board, but nothing feels like me and him. Nothing.
That's cool.
And so that's where my stock is in now. That's my hot stock is in BRANOOFUNK.
Well, cheers to the future.
Yes, sir.
I've had a lot of fun having you on. I'm glad we got this right.
We had a conversation instead of an interview.
This was right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I already knew you. I didn't what was I interviewing?
Yeah. Well, and then of course to plug myself, if you ever wanted to find out about me, not only can you do MedrickGreely.com, my Instagram and Facebook tells you wherever I'm going, whatever I'm doing.
Everything's gonna be tagged. Everything's gonna be tagged and mentioned.
Yeah.
I got you.
Please follow this guy. This guy is going places. He's got the right people he's interviewing. He started early, so you better believe it's just gonna get bigger and bigger. So
I appreciate that. Well, this has been Under the Influence. I'm Ethan Blake. This is Mr. Medrick MEDZ Greely of 14 plus bands. We'll catch you at the next one.
Peace.